welcome back to the hottest marriage show in this room. It's John D. and
Kanika,
aka
Do.
And Too Much Podcast, rescripting the culture one conversation at a time. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Recovering from being under the weather, and seem like I'm still under the weather, but that's what I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
So, you've disappeared recently.
Yes, I took a week off and went to California to visit a friend for her birthday. Came back and the house was completely clean. I love that.
Oh, well, I was wondering if you wanted to talk about your trip. Like, California is not one of those hour trips get away. It's you left for a week.
So California isn't a place that a Midwestern salary should go to vacation. Because every time we walked out the door, it was like somebody's knocking the Sonic coins up out of me. Like, it was like money falling everywhere. But it was nice. It was nice. It was beautiful weather and nice experiences.
What did you get out of the trip that you were looking for, and what surprised you?
You know what I got? So one of the things I don't have to do on a regular is actually care about how I dress. Because I work from home, so whatever I'm wearing is what I'm wearing usually. But when you go out with people, you want to make sure that you're not front. So
What is front?
Looking frumpy, looking like I wasn't gonna wear hoodies and joggers the entire time. So there were things that, I mean, it was nice to get dressed again and like care about how you look. So that was cool. In conversations with some of the other women, definitely realized that I really should be like, I'm more motivated to do things for other people than I am for myself. So really need to work on that. And I think the other thing was, I always feel like I know my friends. I feel like we generally have the same ideas about things, regardless of our status, whether we're married or not. But I learned on this trip usually I'm one-on-one with a friend that's single. And I don't know, our conversations just kind of stay in a certain place. But being around other people who don't know me, I learned that the conversations with single women my age are very, very different. And the perspective that they have as a collective is very different than what I have myself. So it's very interesting having conversations and like about relationships and who you're dating and under what circumstances and, what's acceptable and what's not. What are the boundaries between friends and not, especially if, you're single and you're enjoying yourself and you're, in all these different I guess there are relationships I don't understand having been married younger, things that I didn't really have to deal with because I didn't really date. When we met, I was 20, almost 21. And even when you were gone, I was focused on school. I wasn't dating anybody. So I don't really know what it's like to have all these colorful different levels of friendship and relationship and what works and what doesn't. So I definitely it opened my eyes to more of what may be going on, what I think is okay versus what someone who's living in the life of dating and trying to find their partner may think is okay. So that was eye-opening for me also.
Oh, yeah. So was there anything that you was looking forward to that you got to experience, or
nothing in particular? I mean, I'd never been to Napa before. We went to Napa. But I thought Napa, like, I don't know, we went to downtown Napa. So we went to a tasting room. We went to 2 tasting rooms and we went to a brunch. But in my head, I always thought when I went to Napa, I was going to be wearing like boots and a little jacket and walking around because it's like rainy cold, or in a flowy little dress and sipping wine outside. I don't know why I thought that, but it was nice. Napa was nice. Oakland was nice. It was interesting to watch. You know what was crazy is, and she told me this, but it didn't really register until we were there, riding around, and the people who were addicts on the street, like people who were literally standing up leaning up against a wall and drooling. I was like, what in the world? She said, I told you there's zombies around here. And legit, there were. And people just walked past them. And, I'm not used to seeing that at home. So it was different. It was different to just see, it just looked like a bunch of abandoned people just floating around. You know what I mean? So that was interesting.
Sounds like it. So with the information you have now, I was thinking there was a part of you that says that there is a level of hurt that could make you avoid a relationship. Like you was like, I didn't sign up for that, for the feeling to be hurt in a relationship. I'm pretty sure most women. But I was wondering, in the times that we're in now, watching how everybody's complaining about how hard it is to find the person they want to be with, do you think that there's an age limit where it stops being worth it to get married? Or do you believe that everybody deserves an opportunity to experience that? Or do you nah?
I don't know. I think that if I had gotten to this point, I don't know, there's some people. I've had a friend where she was really like interested in being married. And now that we're at this age and she's single, she was like, that's not really like, I just want to enjoy myself. I want somebody to enjoy life with. I do see how getting married, I guess one of the other things I think about is when my mom was like, it's different when you're young and you get married, you grow up together and you kind of learn each other. You kind of mold together in a way for a lot of people. But when you get married in your 40s, y'all are set people. And so if I had gotten to this point and I wasn't married, I'm not fully convinced that I would have felt like marriage was necessary either, because you've established so much in your life to merge those lives together and those attitudes and behaviors and beliefs and things like that. Families you've already created before that person, if you did. I feel like it's messy. It's messy no matter when you enter into it. But I don't necessarily know if marriage by then would be necessary for me. What about you?
Well, the way that I look at it, I just look at the way that single men die early, and the idea that somebody would rather be with somebody abusive than die old alone. So I'm thinking, like, what does it take to get there? Because remember, we used to talk about different levels of urgency or an emergency. Like, you look at this as an emergency, but this person look like this is a Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the journey is some pain. You would like it to not have any abuse, of course. But there's always going to be some type of conflict of somebody hurting somebody because they don't know each other enough. Do you think the level of communication plays a role on if somebody can really make it work? Like, I don't want anybody to grow old and alone either. But like I said, I thought about losing you, and I don't want to live that life. To me, I feel like it would have to come from a selfish place if I don't do it, if I don't get to do it with you. To me, I feel like the experiences we create are ours. But then, like, if I don't have you, who am I gonna tell them to? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe that I believe in marriage enough to replace you if you died. But I do believe that to get the feeling that I have is worth trying. I thought you should always try to get married.
No.
But these last 6 years made me understand why people should try.
Yeah, if you were to pass, I wouldn't bother. If it were to develop into something like that with someone, I wouldn't stop it.
For sure.
But I don't feel like it's necessary. I think that the other part of that is having those social networks. And look who's talking about having social networks. But one thing I will say is that my friends who are older and single, not older, they're our age and they're single, they have like a vast web of connections to friends, like varying in what they're used for, or in what situations they call on them, how close they are, whatever. But I think as we're moving, and I might just be looking at it, I can't say that because I got one friend from one side, like they're from completely different walks of life, and they create really, really full social connection webs with people. I don't think anybody would die alone. Maybe not with somebody laying in the bed next to them every night. Maybe they will. But marriage, I don't think at this point would feel necessary for partnership. I feel like it would be cleaner to not be married. And for those who don't have a relationship, I don't think anybody at this point would feel the level of dying alone the way that I think of it when my grandmother died and it was just her. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it looks the same, but at the same time, this is me being a married person from a younger age. I could say what I would feel like I would want to do, but nobody ever really knows what you're going to do until you get into the situation. So, but that's just how I feel. I don't know. And it's not even the thing about, we've said before where you'll be like, it's so much work to get to know somebody else on this level. It's not even that. I don't even mind that part. It's just, I don't think it's not necessary.
Yeah, when I hear you say that, like, it's more necessary than you think. Like, the amount of conversations we have, if I wanted to, I could avoid past conflicts easily. Like, I could do that. If you have somebody and you're just having fun, like, more than likely you're going to run into those conversations. And to me, when I look at the way that we spend time with each other, I just think about repeating myself. There's a part of you in the past. I used to say we did something. You were like, it wasn't me. And I'd be like,
I did, because I wouldn't remember. I feel like that wasn't me.
So imagine if you don't have a consistent person and then you got to create you can't really go tell a story because you got to create the entire scene for them to actually get it. Like, I don't have to do that with you anymore because most of the times of our experiences, you're there with me and you're seeing it from a total different way, or we could discuss what we saw, or if like you go somewhere, I can get your perspective on what you saw. But if you're by yourself, you're telling somebody who may not even care. You know what I'm saying? They're just there for whatever reasons. You hope that they're there because they want to hear you talk. But if they don't want to hear you talk, they're just there. And it's like, you don't know that though. Like, just because you look good, they might be there. Or because you got a little poke out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want that feeling as a person, like somebody's here for the reason that I don't want them. I want them maybe to get to know me.
Yeah.
But they're acting like it so they can get something else. And that is, to me, I can see why I wouldn't want to like do the dating thing. But where I am now, that's the reason why I'm like, I didn't know I could get here. So not knowing that I could get here, I know that there are several men that are not here and they're just there so they don't get fined.
Man, I just watched that clip. Well, I think that I often feel overstimulated by dealing with a lot of people. So even the idea of like, I wouldn't be somebody who would date a bunch of people at the same time where I'd be like, did I tell him this story already? Or was that Reginald? Like, I wouldn't be that one, but
what I mean, 2 or 3 people a year could accumulate.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, you wouldn't be getting them confused the first year, but second and third year, you're like, what's that?
Yeah, I don't know. I always used to think that it must be fun to date a bunch of people.
If it's no responsibility, but when you have a different purpose, when you're trying to get something, it could like be overwhelming. Like, I'm not getting the result I want. I'm only dating because I want to get over here. I don't want to date to not get over here.
Yeah. That's something that I do believe I missed out on. I think that I would have been better prepared had I known the variation of people in dealing with conflicts in a romantic relationship with multiple. I think I would have
benefited.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are some things that I appreciate hearing stories from my friends talking about, but I mean, if it's
too.
But if the situation took place now where I was back to the point where I could do that, I don't have the energy or the want to deal with a bunch of people anyway. So,
man.
So, it's just as well that the men our age are looking for women 20 years younger than us because I wouldn't even be caring. Like, so what?
I'd be feeling bad for men that find any type of reward from a woman that young. Like, if you can't get a woman that young, something's wrong.
If you cannot?
Yeah.
Oh.
You already know what they want at that age.
You already established you should be able to. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like you've lived a long enough life to know that every 20-year-old, for the most part, not every, but they want these things. And if you could provide those things, you can get, to me, like, I feel like some men don't understand that the challenge is making it work. But you're supposed to make it work. Like if you don't make it work, you can't say I picked the wrong person. Like you have to like, I don't know. I just think like I do understand what you're saying. I like you would have rather had the experience than not. And I believe you deserve to be treated or courted by other men. So you could be like, was it worth it? Or, because I definitely didn't do a good job at that.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I have time. I could still don't do that.
Did you see?
But I didn't like our relationship was just different. So I just looked at us differently. And I know, I just like I don't have to do all that for you. Not thinking that she wants it like any other woman.
I know.
I was too small minded,
Yeah.
close minded. Like, like why would I do all that? You already want me. We together. I look back, that's a child thinking. I told you the goal was to get women to take care of me doing the least amount of work.
The goal was to get women to take care of you?
Yeah, like the player life, like you want like women to take care of you, you make them happy and they want to like take care of you. But like going through that life as a single man, I was like, I don't think I really want women to take care of me. If I do, I want them to do it in where I'm not asking for it because I couldn't ask for anything. Unless like it was a gift. Like I thought birthdays and like Christmas was an exception. But just for you to be doing it, yeah, I just thought that if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it. I can't ask you. Like what woman want to do that? And you look at movies, you be like, it'll all be all the old women. Like, I want to sugar my believe and keep me looking good. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shoot, I was doing that as a young one.
I know. My point was I wanted multiple women to do that. But
This is
then
the era we grew up in.
and like I said, like it was poor messaging. You had to really like me to purchase things that expensive at that time.
Yeah, that mess was wild. But
I turned to love.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we're not there anymore because that was an expensive lifestyle. So not having any money.
I wasn't happy about that, but
It's a long time ago.
What kind of dude? It's just like never in my life.
What?
Look, this dude wore basketball shorts, scrubs. He was dressed down, but he was the most expensive dressed down dude ever. All of a sudden, it was like Gucci and Ferragamo. Like, where'd that come from? I thought you were so down to earth in regards to stuff like that, and then all of a sudden,
I thought that was the part that you're supposed to have.
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere.
No, yeah, Detroit, the D. What up, though? Yeah, like I told them, I was like, you guys are the reason why I was financially irresponsible. For real.
For real though.
Yeah. Like I was like, y'all don't even wear Jordans. It was like they just wear Air Force Ones, Rockport boots. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
During that time period. And I'm like,
they didn't wear Jordans.
They didn't.
They wore Guess jean outfit stuff.
Yeah. Canadian tuxedos.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. But so at this point, your say is you would not get married if you were like single up until this point.
I would see the point. I wouldn't see the point. I don't know. And it's odd because some people will talk about what does marriage mean, and like to me, having gone through it, our kids are grown. Like if I'm not having children with somebody, I don't really know if signing the paper is necessary. I could commit to someone. I don't necessarily know if I need to sign the paper because, I don't know. I think that I would imagine being with someone where they're kind of set in their ways and I'm set in my ways. Mm-hmm. It would be easier for me to part ways if needed. Whereas, when I was younger, I was more malleable. It was easier for me to like kind of fit in and figure out how to make us work or whatever. But at this point, I'm like, okay, if you get on my nerves more than that, bye. I need to be able to walk. But anyway, it appears that marriage to you is worth it to do it a second time, or that be the goal.
No, yeah, I think that every man should experience it with the intent of making that woman the happiest in the world. And the reason why I say that is because if you do that, she would do anything for you.
Yeah.
But not only that, if you can get her there, she's going to give you a perspective you can't get unless you create the relationship with the person. And the single men I know, they're too scared to give a woman that much. And if you can't give a woman that, then marriage isn't worth it. Like, you know, absolutely everything that could, whatever it could do. And some men don't feel like a woman should ever be able to hold that.
That's rough.
It is rough, you know, and that's a horrible reason to not get married too, because no woman wants to do that.
Well, but at the same time, if there's a man that's hung up on some stuff like that, no woman wants to marry a guy who.
Oh no, I'm just saying in the mindset of the single man. You're right. No woman wants to, but they still believe. I mean, they still have women that don't know that part of them.
Yeah.
And they think because they're handsome, they work out, they travel, they got money, they have their own business. Like they just got it together. And it's really like, it's not a facade because it's their real life, but the parts that need to be worked on, I don't think the woman wants to get in marriage to work on that part, because that's supposed to be the self-mastery from that person. Why get in a relationship when you got these things you should have been working on? Most of them don't know it's the problem because they covered these other bases that make a woman feel like that's what I want. And I can see how that could be smoke screen. Cause you to get in something like, I did not get this for this.
Yeah.
I see this, it did. Bright lights, oh my gosh. But the stuff that comes with it, like,
Yeah.
I would rather not to have had that experience because I went through this. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I know with you, that was tough, but with me, you've given me a new hope that everybody's supposed to be here. Yeah. But anybody want to give a shout out before we get out of here?
No, nobody in particular. Yeah.
Shout out to students that are going to school to hopefully get the right message to enjoy life. I see a lot of students that are struggling with just doing what they need to be doing, and I often think about what the result can come. So I know that you didn't put yourself in that situation. You are a product of your parents, but if you ever believe you're that important, you could break the ceiling for your family. So shout out to all kids that go to school to hopefully be the new example for their future family. Y'all make oh yeah, for sure. I didn't mean to catch you off.
No, I cut you off.
Y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA. Get after that action, or that action will get after you. Be great on purpose.